Hello and welcome to another episode of TransWitchReacts. This time I'm going to be watching a video called WitchTok Has Gone Too Far. Now, I'm not on TikTok, so I have no idea what WitchTok really is, other than I've heard of it a few times before. And I don't really know who this criticism is by and what kind of thing they're going to say. So, this is going to be something of a journey of discovery for me. Hopefully I'll be able to pause and interject my own comments and thoughts as it goes along, but I think this is just going to be a fun ride.
Witchcraft is an ancient practice that spans countless cultures and centuries, but what happens when magic meets modernity and tradition meets TikTok? The online WitchTok community is no stranger to toil and trouble, with as many hoaxes as there are hexes, so...
Okay, I'm just gonna interject. I mean, obviously I've come from a background of magic that does mix a lot of modernity quite deliberately into the magical practice, that being chaos magic, and obviously I've taken that a step further and by embracing the whole cyber magic and tech magic kind of paradigms, building tech magic tools to aid in the practice of magic. So I'm not a traditionalist by any stretch of the imagination, so already I'm thinking, well, what does this necessarily, where is this going? I don't know, we'll see. I'll just rewind that so that we don't, because I think there's a bit just there before I paused that I kind of missed, though my thoughts were already racing as they do. So.
Toil and trouble, with as many hoaxes as there are hexes, so the question is, are you a good witch or a bad witch? I'm
fucking good at being a witch.
Preface this video by saying we are not going to be addressing the question of whether or not magic is real. I used to believe that a certain type of cracker was more holy than other types of crackers, so I don't really think I'm in the position to judge people for what they believe. However, I do think there are a lot of fascinating questions and concerns surrounding the content that many witches, pagans, and spiritualists post to TikTok. Go fish. For instance, many witches, instead of studying scrolls, seem to be more interested in keeping people from scrolling, threatening viewers with misfortune if they don't engage. Of course, TikTok card readings tend to be suspiciously dramatic. It's always a friend preying on your downfall, or an ex-lover who wants you back, and never anything useful, like, hey, your inspection sticker is about to expire. Or something.
I don't give a if you don't believe in tarot readings. This video found you for a f***ing reason.
Damn, girl. Okay. Now, I'm not 100% sure how these online tarot readings even work. Maybe the coven in the comment section could explain this, because my understanding was that a reading is supposed to be a very individual experience. The posters always insist that if you see their video on your For You page, the reading is meant for you. Well, you and the other 851,500 people summoned by the almighty algorithm.
You will marry.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I prefer my tech magic tools and things, and I'm not the only one that's built the divination tools. I mean, there's been hundreds and hundreds of these things for decades now, so I mean, you can get online tarot readings. You don't need somebody to do some generic reading. That's the equivalent of like the horoscope pages, where it's just lumping everyone of the same star sign into the same, this is going to happen to you this week or whatever. So it's yeah, I can see how that's kind of just some, might be great for marketing, might be great for playing the algorithm, but yeah.
This man in the year 2024, and it will be the best day of your life, and your friends will be very jealous of you. Please reply with "I do" in the comments to confirm the truth of this prophecy.
I receive in Jesus' name, amen. I receive in Jesus' name. What kind of dystopian nightmare is this? We've got AI grannies giving out prophecies before GTA 6? Another interesting byproduct of the convergence of social media and spirituality is a recent contentious offshoot of paganism that worships pop culture deities.
Yeah, well, that's not new. I mean, that was the whole thing in Chaos Magic going back, and not just Chaos Magicians have done it as well. That kind of whole stuff has a long history, really.
Funny you should mention that because I work with Hatsune Miku, so that happens quite a lot.
What was it like working with Itachi Uchiha as a pop culture deity? In a magical and astral sense, my eyes looked like they had unlocked the Sharingan. And directly in front of me, I saw a PK manifestation of Itachi Uchiha.
Where were we? Pop culture pagans are a small but very vocal community of practitioners that believe that the intense devotion of fan culture towards popular characters, celebrities, and icons has the power to create an autonomous psychic entity called an egregore. Come on, keep up. If people write enough filthy fan fiction or argue about headcanons in enough Tumblr threads, then this egregore feeding off all this scrum-diddly-umptious collective energy can grow more powerful and even ascend into a deity. All this...
Yeah, I mean, that is classic Chaos Magic, and that was been around from the 80s. The term egregore, interestingly, comes from the Gregori, which is a type of angel, and these were said to watch over certain groups, and I can't remember how far it goes back, maybe the Rosicrucians or the Golden Dawn or somewhere like that, but these occult groups had the idea that an egregore or a Gregori would each organization would have its own egregore that looked over it, and it was originally like a kind of guardian angel concept. But with the advent of theories like memetics, these became seen as a kind of group mind that emerges out of the collective of the group that works in that sort of in that organization. And for a particular in the terms of a pop culture deity, or there is already an egregore there in a sense from everyone who knows about the mythos. Not everyone that worships it, not everyone has to be a magician part of that egregore. Everyone has some idea of a lot of pop culture things because a lot of us are exposed to them. So these characters already have this kind of mythic status in our society in the same way that heroes like Psyche and Hercules and whatever would have had in ancient times. And so there is definitely, yeah, I don't want to ramble too much on about this, but there is something there where there is an emergent property of the quality of these things which we know about. You know, whether it's a character from Star Trek or anime series, which I don't know too much about, or yeah, whatever, they can all be tapped into. So because they're all in here, all myths are in here, really. That doesn't mean that there aren't entities out there, but I kind of feel like entities out there are so invisible to us that they use masks to communicate. Anyway, that's getting maybe a little deep, so I'm just sort of throwing this out there.
Just to say, maybe Santa Claus does actually see you when you're sleeping and know when you're awake. Pop culture pagans often state that these egregores or deities directly interact with them, whether it's putting themselves on the worshipper's Pinterest feed.
So sometimes I'll ask an egregore to put themselves on my Pinterest even though I haven't looked anything up about them on Pinterest yet. So I asked the Starion to do it, and lo and behold, I kept scrolling, and then, bam, there he is.
or causing their games to glitch, because what else are they going to do with all that spiritual time? Some will even claim that they have married one or more of these deities in an old controversial practice known as god spousing.
Surprise! I married a pop culture deity before I never told y'all. He came before Satan, he came before Loki, he came before Apollo. He was my first ever spouse.
Congratulations to the happy harem. As you might expect, many traditional pagans are absolutely horrified by pop culture paganism, saying that it's disrespecting an ancient system of belief, and also that it's ruining the reputation of an already fringe faith. Some even say that pop culture pagans are being deceived by trickster spirits that are siphoning their energy. But you can siphon my energy whenever you want. Is a god someone started worshiping in 2019 necessarily less valid than a god someone started worshiping in 100 AD? Are these people spiraling into spiritual psychosis? Do they just need to get off they damn phones? I don't really have a wand in this fight, but I will say I'd much rather deal with someone who thinks that Hatsune Miku is their god wife who helps them with their homework than someone like this.
There are shows coming out like Hocus Pocus 2, Haunted Mansion. Do not watch these things because you open your home up to the demonic. What you are telling the devil is, come on in, get my children. That's what you're doing.
I receive in Jesus' name. I have never seen someone so desperately in need of a Pillsbury Halloween sugar cookie. Simmer down, sister. It's gonna be okay. So you've really tried it all. Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, Grindr, Christian Mingle, Farmers Only, but the only thing you're riding is your broomstick. Maybe you can solve your singleness with a spell. After all, the most popular content on Witch Talk is how to use magic to get yourself a bippity-boppity-boo.
I call this my sugar and spice blend because you already know. What you're gonna do is take a little bit in the palm of your hand before your sneaky link or whoever comes over and blow it on the bed.
If I hop into bed with you for a little game of rated R Twister and it feels like you just housed an entire sleeve of Oreos in the sheets pre-coitus, the granular texture against my skin is gonna kill my metaphorical a little bit.
If you don't want it the easy way, you're going to have it the hard way with this super powerful spell.
Oh, you know I want it the hard way, Mr. Witchmayor, sir.
On a piece of paper, you're going to write their full name in red ink, and you're going to spray it 3 times with your favorite perfume and fold it twice towards you. Then you're going to find some of your underwear and make a hole where you'll insert the paper, and you're going to wear it all night.
Hey guys, I hate to spoil the spell casting, but don't put perfume near your tunnel of love or any scented product for that matter. It's going to irritate your skin, it's going to throw off your pH balance, and it's going to make it a lot less comfortable to have it the hard way. So, how did you two meet?
Oh my goodness. So it's actually such a cute story. So I wrote his name down 5 times on a piece of paper and then I put it on my bleeding. Oh, okay. Well, it's still better than a dating app. I know that's right.
There were like 10 different versions of this menstrual pad love spell. They were putting cinnamon in there, saliva, so many different unique flavors. I want to try it with hot sauce just to see what'll happen.
Sorry, I'm not allowed to say that on YouTube. I have to censor that out. Yeah. Oh my god. That's funny. I didn't realize this was going to be so funny. Oh dear.
Putting period blood in the pasta To make sure your man sticks around, well, I've never seen a recipe that required a diva cup before. It's pretty creative. It doesn't really get much more homegrown than that. I mean, that's like organic marinara. I'm gathering I should probably refuse any milkshakes or lemonade offered to me in this household. He called over 100 times in 1 hour with this simple communication spell. I put honey under my tongue, and now he can't function without me. Use this simple spell to make him obsessed with you. Does it work? I think the better question is, what the hell are we doing? Maybe I'm misunderstanding something, but it doesn't seem like there's much room for consent in all of this sugar, spice, say the incantation thrice. If you truly believe that this magic has power, then you're admitting to using supernatural means to manipulate someone to be with you against their will. Coercion isn't cute just because the girlies are doing it, and some of this stuff is straight up creepy.
This is a love spell that was done almost 2 years ago. The person no longer wants to be with the woman.
So let me get this straight. She spiritually bound this innocent woman to a man without her knowledge, and then once the man was done with that relationship, now she's just gonna cut the strings. I'm sorry, is there some kind of witchcraft police we can call? A wizarding Supreme Court we could appeal to, perhaps? Why would you do this to someone, especially another woman? Not everyone is love and light. I do dark magic, and not everyone is okay with that, and that's a-okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try that one next time I get pulled over for speeding. I'm sorry, officer, not everyone is love and light. Look, if you need magical intervention to get someone into bed with you, that kind of sounds like a skill issue. Can't relate personally. I like to seduce people the old-fashioned way by being irresistibly charming and having a fat ass. But when it comes to toxic relationship advice on Witch Talk, it doesn't get much worse than twin flames. The idea of twin flames dates back to at least ancient Greece, but the TikTok version is a little bit messier. WitchTok claims that the twin flame dynamic has a runner and a chaser, which is, that already sounds like the train to nowhere pulling into Delulu station. The idea is that no matter how much they ghost you or choose other people over you, your twin flame will come around eventually, and if you try to be with anyone else, that's fine, you'll just never be truly happy.
Once you've met your twin flame and then you try to go date someone else, you'll have this persistent nagging feeling to go back. Twin is the only soul that you share a soul frequency with.
Now this to me sounds like it can be used to nurture an unhealthy attachment to someone who treats you badly, or to continue harassing someone who already told you no.
I mean, yeah, and then that sounds scarily like the Twin Flames universe cult, which I guess is based on those similar ideas, but no, not for me.
I think it's an extremely limiting view of human relationships to think that there's only one person in the entire universe that you're meant to be with. And I think that the rationale behind twin flames can lead to some pretty awful conclusions.
What do I do if I'm married or my twin flame is married? How are we possibly going to be together? You're gonna let go of that silly marriage. Let your partner, who isn't your twin flame, go.
Hear that, fellas? Leave that wife of 2 decades for the 19-year-old waitress you made intense eye contact with at the Waffle House. It's just a silly marriage after all. That's your twin flame pouring your coffee. Get your lawyer on the phone stat. It's divorce time. It's not that easy, especially when children are involved. It is when you put God and yourself first. Yeah. Them kids. I think most of us know how stupid our hearts can be, and this idea of enshrining our random fantasies in a sacred explanation seems to justify following our most selfish impulses without caring about who we hurt. Ooh, twin flames, so romantic. Way more romantic than most of our actual real-world connections are. There are people who believe that the twin flame connection is so strong that you can actually feel what the other person is feeling. If you're feeling inexplicable pain, I would suggest you check with the doctor just to be sure. And if it is actually your twin flame, I would prescribe bottomless margaritas. But by far, the most concerning stuff I found on spiritual TikTok wasn't love spells, dark magic, or toxic relationship advice. It was this.
A woman will stay in her masculine energy until a man makes her feel safe to be comfortable in her feminine energy.
Masculine energy looks like this. I'm going, I am thinking, I am providing, I am determined, I am planning, I am executing. Feminine energy looks like receiving, relaxing, being comfortable, being provided for, being nurturing, being loving.
Get back in the kitchen in a super sexy, spiritual way, yeah? Ooh, I'm getting vibrations that, ooh, you should be in the kitchen right now. No, we're not stripping you of agency and independence. We're letting you relax in your feminine energy so we can do the hard masculine energy stuff like being CEOs and presidents and passing legislation that dictates what you can and can't do with your body and you know, like ruling the world or whatever, but boring stuff. You wouldn't like it, I promise.
How did
Yeah, no, I mean, is this all this stuff? Is this actually witch talk? This all, because a lot of this sounds very Christian. I don't know. Is it that's being criticized here?
You get out of your masculine energy and embrace your feminine energy. Sometimes as women, our environments and circumstances force us to be in a state of taking action and survival and leading, and that's not what we were put here to do. Now, masculine energy is associated with action, logic, and assertiveness, while feminine energy is in this nurturing and receptive state.
Guys are like, R, and girls are like, ah. See, you can forget about that gender studies degree. I just saved you over $40,000. You're welcome.
I mean, I guess like one of the things that put me off Wicca and why I went to more alternative and outside weirder sides of magic is because of that gender binary that was all pervasive, that god-goddess thing where it was presenting this men are like this and goddess and women are like that, and you know, that kind of whole creepy gender essentialism was why I didn't really gel with that tradition. I'm not surprised to see it being taken in this very much more new agey and very conservative and frankly quite fascist direction that's being criticized here.
Say that again, I liked it.
That made me feel nasty. I feel nasty.
Woman that's in her masculine energy, because she's in her head, because she's planning, this is a low-key stress response for a woman. And when a man is around a woman who's in her low-key stress response, it triggers it in him. He views her as a competitor and not as a possible companion.
You can see how
Oh dear, I might need to rewind it to get the response here, but that just gave me chills. Thankfully I'm more sapphic, I'm not really that interested in men, but ew, woo, no.
Not as a possible companion.
You can see how insidious this is, using welcoming, spiritually open language to draw women in, especially women who have had negative experiences with restrictive, organized religions, and then just shoving a repackaged version of the patriarchy in their face. Not the package I would prefer. Instead of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 24, now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything, it's, girl, your masculine energy is so not hot. You'll never get a boyfriend. I guess what I'm trying to say with this video is that really harmful ideas can lurk within any religious system, no matter how aesthetically pleasing or fun. I love witchy stuff. I have witchy stuff all over my apartment. But whether you believe in Jesus, the universe, Loki, or Hatsune Miku, the one thing we all have in common is that we can be super awful to each other. So don't let the pretty candles and crystals lull you into a false sense of security.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, there's been some pretty awful people in chaos magic too. The tradition I ended up spending a lot of time in. Some of them are outright fascist, including some of the founders of the whole movement. So, you know, yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that for now.
Candles and crystals lull you into a false sense of security. Well, I know some of my jokes probably ruffled a few feathers, so if you're a subscriber of mine and you happen to also be a practicing witch, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor and taking a moment out of your day to put a little protection spell over me, I'd really appreciate it.
Okay, I'll do that. After the video. I'm not going to do it on the video.
Oh no.
Oh dear, that was really, really funny. Oh dear, what can I... Oh, well, I am going to thank... Oh, I can't even remember which friend suggested this video to me now. It's one of my friends on the Discord server. Yeah, really funny. Glad I reacted to this. If you liked my reaction to this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you haven't already, and join my Patreon if you want to help me make more of these. And I hope you have a good night. I'm about to go to bed. It's very late here now. So yeah, that's that. Thank you.